Welcome to another episode of The Scoop. We are back. Tonight I have Mr. Tim Lattie here with me. So Tim, how are you, sir?
I'm doing very good. I'm doing very well.
I think that it would be a disprivilege if we didn't bring up how incredible last night was.
Yeah, I was. When you asked me how I was doing, I was about to say I'm recovering nicely. I'm handling myself all right. I'm dragging a little bit of ass, but I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good, man.
Yeah, the Wildcat show last night was incredible. Afterwards, you went and caught the last bit of the McGregor match.
We caught the last couple fights of the UFC. And that was it's pretty good. I'm a big Conor fan. I don't really like Khabib, and like we were talking, I mean, you could just I'm repeating myself what we just said in the background, but like I don't know anything about fighting and stuff like that, like UFC necessarily, but you could just feel Conor wasn't there. Like he was pumping Proper 12, the whiskey, which I'm sure is wonderful, but he just wasn't. He was Rocky like in the beginning of Rocky 3. You know what I mean? Like he was too caught up in everything else, not in the. He should have been in fight mode. Khabib was ready to fight, man.
And from what I heard, right after the match, Khabib went outside of the ring and started punching someone else.
Yeah, dude, it was
and then
Dylan
one of
Donis,
his other guys came out and started beating up on McGregor.
Yeah. I need to go watch the videos. I woke up and cut the grass or whatever, but no, man. I got adult stuff to do, dude. Can't be watching YouTube all day. But no, like it was Dylan Donis. That's the other guy that Conor's trainer trains. Like they're really, really tight. And if you see like old Conor matches, he's always there on the sidelines and stuff. So he's the guy with the like dyed hair on top, and that's who he went after. Like I don't know what the story was with that. He just jumped out the ring and like went after him. So I don't know, everything, dude. If you go back, everything even from him like throwing the stuff at the bus was kind of like lame-o and weird and. I don't know. I don't know what it was all about, but I wish he'd get back in fight mode, get back in the kill mode, like that hunger. You need that hunger like that a fighter has, or somebody that wants to achieve something. And I don't know. I don't know if fame got him soft or whatever, but hopefully this will kind of spark him. Getting his tail beat like that. But yeah, Conor, you take him to the floor, he's done, man. He's not a you can't wrestle. It was over. That was it. I knew early on. You knew early on. I don't know UFC, and I knew.
But you read a lot on the dirt sheets as well. It seems like there's a lot of people who are talking about, McGregor going to WWE, that, supposedly the powers that be with WWE have been talking him up, and, you see his name mentioned at least every other week.
Well, remember at Mania down here, there were people saying that Conor might show up. That was floating around, and we were sitting down there, and what's his name? Who's the main guy over there?
Dana White.
Dana White came walking right down the aisle, like he was out there. So we were all thinking like, dude, maybe Conor's going to show up and just say something. So maybe that is something that comes in the long run. I like Conor because I use it as like motivation, man. If you ever go look up on YouTube like Conor motivation, you'll find some really, really good stuff, dude, and some powerful stuff with powerful lessons. So it kind of sucks to see a champion, I don't know, man, like just mail it in like that. Like you could just tell his jokes weren't hitting in the pre-match stuff. Like everything was just kind of like he just wasn't there, man. It just wasn't there this time around. So like I said, sometimes like a defeat or a loss will actually be good for everybody, for anybody, And so I hope that's what happens with him. I hope this is kind of like a wake-up call, and it's like, all right, let's get Conor back, man. Let's get the champion Conor back, not the salesman and whatever, Like, wake up. Come on, get back in there. And I think that's what UFC wants anyway. At UFC, yeah. They want that rematch. But yeah, it sucked, dude. It sucked, man. I mean, everything was fun. It was fun going and watching with your buddies and drinking. The crowd was nice and riled up, but I don't know. It was 3 rounds of him just laying on the ground, trying not to get choked out. That's basically the fight. Like that's kind of it, dude. I mean, that was it.
I saw something with the guy who did an interview with Rogan, and
that was just phenomenal. That was so awesome.
Donald Trump called him and told him beat that Russian's ass. They're
Yeah.
making me look bad in the news.
You can't even do it justice, man. Go watch it. Go watch. Dude, it's out there. It's all over the place. It's Sunday. This is Sunday afternoon. So
Yeah.
if you haven't seen it by now, you're going to see it in the next couple hours, next 2 days. It is so funny, man. This dude. So I went and followed him on Instagram, too. I was just like, all right, let's see what this... hopefully he doesn't suck. You know, I'll follow you as long as you're funny or you're posting cool stuff. But, man, it was great, dude. He's in there with like his pants off, and he says his balls are hot. And like, man, he was funny. And he friggin' slugged that dude, huh? Like
Yeah.
he clocked him, man. So that was cool. Yeah, look that up, man. If y'all haven't seen it yet, it's funny.
So some of the
I don't even want to repeat it. You know what I mean? Like it's just he's so good.
so some of the things that I know that you are doing on an adult level includes building some furniture right now.
Yeah. We're gonna
Why don't
talk,
you tell us
I didn't
a
know we were
little
going to
bit
talk
about
about
it?
that,
Yeah.
but...
Well, it's important. I
no,
mean-
it is, dude. I'm more into that stuff than I am. Like, I'll talk about that more than I'll talk about the goddamn comic book. Man, no, dude. So there's this dude, Michael Mercy, on YouTube, and he's awesome. He's really, really cool guy. He's, man, and he's so centered. He's very... Man, he does toy review videos and sometimes cartoon videos and stuff like that. I shared one of them on Twitter, but I don't know if there's a better word for it. But he's very centered and he looks at it in a different light. And we're talking about toys, like, you know, he did something about He-Man episodes, and it just blew my mind. It was so good and so insightful, and he told stories about his own life and how it interacted with him, how it affected him. And turned these He-Man episodes into life lessons. Like, he picked the top 5. It was like a Patreon thing, and it was beautiful, man. Please go check it out. Michael Mercy's channel. It's phenomenal. And he did one. And the guy from man, it's another really great show, Retro Blasting, that does toy reviews and stuff like that. This is the kind of stuff I watch when I'm like drawing. Is I'll watch all these toy shows because I'm into that. And if you have a look at the covers I draw, it's pretty obvious because I'm always trying to sneak stuff in. But it's called a Ultimate Flagg. So the USS Flagg was a toy that came out in 84, 85 for G.I. Joe, for the G.I. Joe toy line. And to this day, I'm going to say I still think it's the biggest toy ever made. It's absolutely the biggest toy ever made for 3 3/4. But it is, I still think it's probably one of the biggest play sets. It has to be. It has to be the biggest play set
other
ever.
than like a swing set or
Right,
you know,
right. Like something a literal
bicycle. But even still, I think it's bigger than a bicycle.
It's absolutely, I promise you, it's bigger than a bicycle. It's 7 feet by 3 feet. So I, you know, I mean, dude, I'm 37, bro. And like I just, it's so weird, dude. I have the weirdest goddamn life, y'all. But yeah, dude, so I just know all these people, and everybody knows I'm into certain things, so sometimes I get first dibs on stuff that comes around, and, you know, people will be like, hey, I got this around, you know, you interested? So I ended up buying a USS Flagg and a Terradrome from G.I. Joe. I don't even want to say, like, I hope... I had an old car I was selling, so part of it was I traded a car for the USS Flagg. Like, that was part of the deal. I'm not even joking, dude. And so, like, the guy that I bought it from, his little girl is driving my car now. There was some other stuff involved, but yeah. And, yeah, so we decided, anyway, we decided to raise it and make it, it's called an Ultimate USS Flagg. It's called an Ultimate Flagg. And this is an older car, too, you know what I mean? So it wasn't worth a lot of money. But it's an Ultimate USS Flagg, and so we're raising it off the ground. The flag just doesn't have any weight underneath. Like, it just doesn't, it's very long and wide, but it's low on the ground. So we're raising it, man, we're trying to get it to 15 to 16 inches. Me and my buddy Trevor, and we're right there. We might finish it up this afternoon. And you'll be able to put all kinds of stuff underneath the flag. I'm going to use it as like a desk / coffee table, like / display kind of thing.
And I've seen
very excited
prototypes
about
of
that.
this. And in fact, I'm probably going to show a picture from the text right
now,
here on the clip. On
so
the movie.
In the process of it too, and we were talking about retro blasting and all. Retro blasting and Toy Polloi is another good one. These are my favorites. They they do toy like fix it up kind of things. You know, you see that you see those kind of shows on.
Well, it's just like with a car, to where like you'll hear a car is, you know, like these classic cars. Yes. Oh, it's 99% original. It's 93% original, and it's all based on whether or not, you know, hey, this hose is no longer available for this car.
Right.
We have to use some sort of aftermarket, or, you know, these tires are no longer made. We had to use the comparable modern day, or
and I'm a little
of that nature.
I'm a little more loosey goosey about that kind of stuff, because I don't care if it's like repro. Sometimes people make repro parts for certain things, like Star Wars figures. I don't know how much I care if it's the original weapons. You know what I mean, dude? Because I didn't have the weapons when I was a kid anyway.
Yeah, you
know,
lost
Luke's
the minute that you opened it up.
Well, I mean, you might not even have had it like that. I mean, again, I'm born in '81, so I had Bespin Luke. That was my Luke growing up. You know, his lightsaber was a toothpick. You know, you just had to roll with it. Like, and you're a kid, so it doesn't matter. So I bought some repro weapons, and it's all new to me. You know, it all looks cool to me. So some of the repro parts I don't mind as much. Some people want it to be exactly original, and it would probably be the same thing with cars or whatever else you're dealing with. But yeah, so they have this other thing. It's called retro brighting. And me and my buddy, man, we bought 4 cases of peroxide from Sam's, and we got a big old bucket in my backyard, and we've been retro brighting stuff. And what it does is that over time, it started with people that were doing computers, people that were big into like Apples and Macs back in the day. The computer keyboards and the casing becomes yellowed over time. And
even if you're not like smoking around it or whatever, just that age on.
There's a lot of theories. There's a lot of theories what causes it. And especially with figures, a lot of times people think it might be the grease from your hands touching certain figures and stuff like that. Yeah, this might be sunlight from a window, but whatever. But it does. It happens over time that it occurs. And if you put it, there's 2 different ways to do it. There's one way where you make this crazy paste with all kinds of stuff. I don't think you need to do that, dude. We bought a ton of peroxide, and we've been cleaning house on things, and it brightens these things up pretty nicely. So I took that Flagg and I put it in there, man, and all those white parts look white. I mean, it looks new, dude. And even the gray trussels and stuff like that underneath look really nice. So that's what I want to do. I want to get it all nice and set. Watch some horror movies, dude, and have my Flagg coffee table there and all. Do some comics and whatever. So whatever. And man, you would think people would be weird about it, but every now and again I might have a lady friend over or something like that. And they seem to really enjoy it. Like, people get a kick out of it. I think
it's a good conversation.
If you own it, you know what I mean? If you own it. I have one room that I dedicate to all this stuff. It's not like the whole house is, it's not like Pee-wee's Playhouse or something weird like that. One dedicated room. So yeah, man. I love it, dude. I eat that stuff up. So I'm working on an AT-AT. I just did an Ewok Village, all kinds of stuff. Ghostbuster Ecto 1, I'm going to get to that too, eventually. So I'm sure people love hearing me talk about playing with my toys, dude, and building toys. But man, it's cool, bro.
But it's very relevant in your career. I mean, a lot of these things inspire you, and in turn, you are now drawing those things, I mean, the Ninja Turtles, Star Wars, WWE, the Ghostbusters, all these different things, to where you're constantly getting little projects here and there, whether it be a comic book or just a commission to draw.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, you're constantly drawing these things that you were inspired by as a child.
Well, they do. No, and I was going to say that, and I didn't, but they do. They coincide, and a lot of the reason I like having that stuff around me is because it inspires me and it reminds me of why I'm doing this, dude. Not everybody gets to do that kind of stuff. Not everybody gets to do what you kind of always wanted to do and things. And no, man, so that's like a constant reminder. That, dude, for real, like the USS Flagg or something like that's like a constant reminder. And I'm going to be doing some G.I. Joe stuff coming up. And I don't want to give. Well, I don't want to give away. It's just it's going to be covers, similar to what I do with Ghostbusters. And I don't want to give away everything, but those couple things I just talked about will probably be heavily played on those covers. You know what I mean? Yeah. So the inspiration is there. Absolutely. I already kind of let the cat out the bag, but I'm not going to go too far. But yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, But absolutely. One of the big ones is, with the Ghostbusters, you're even moving out of the comic book realm per se with the game.
Yeah.
From what I'm seeing, the
So-
Ghostbusters world.
So if everyone doesn't know, and I'm weird about all that stuff on social media and everything, but I need to be a little more forceful about it. But yeah, I was very lucky again and fortunate. Right place, right time, man. Ghostbusters having a pretty amazing resurgence, and they're kind of. It's Halloween time. Halloween's right around the corner. We're in autumn. If you go to Spirit Halloween, dude, there is a massive, massive Ghostbuster presence. They brought out the Ecto goggles this year, the trap, the PKE meter, and stuff like that. And they are really, really gearing up for the 35th anniversary. And you also have younger kids that are getting into Ghostbusters now. Again, besides the comic books, there's not that much else out there. It's not like there's a cartoon show or really, besides the ATC, another movie, the 2016 movie. But you have all those Playmobil toys, which are beautiful. They're great. I know a lot of kids that are into that and love the Ghostbuster Playmobil and stuff like that. So Ghostbusters is, man, and I know you're a fan. You know,
Yeah,
you can't
I
see
mean-
behind us. I mean, there's stuff behind us back there. You probably can't. You can see a little bit of it, but yeah, there's just a resurgence going on, and so. Again, right place, right time, but I started working on the Ghostbusters game. I was asked by Sony, I got an email one day from Sony to, do the story mode and some of the they're called character expressions of the game. So whenever Peter Venkman comes up and is telling you how to use your proton pack, or Ray Stantz or one of these people, that'll be my artwork, the little cartoony character. You know, whatever.
Yeah.
I have a ton of pictures on my phone of me like acting out all these things with a spirit proton pack on, or some of the ghosts that are in the game. And then there's also so the story mode is going to go into a comic book, and this I cannot divulge what goes on, but I did the comic book, and there's some really cool stuff involved with that. How far? It's very similar to Pokemon Go, except that you'll be able to have the story mode, but yeah,
from the video, from what I kind of understood, it seemed like you could go through the story mode, which is like the built-in on the phone game, to where you don't have to walk around and kill ghosts and stuff. It gives you a little way to get some experience per se, to where you can level up your ghosts. That, as you catch ghosts on the walk around aspect game, they become your army, and you're slowly building up that army, and you're fighting other people's armies. You can fight, from what I understand, you can fight other people.
Yeah. But as a Ghostbuster fan, and I am, and I'm not just saying that because I work on it, man, because I'm telling them when they're emailing me, I'm like, look, I know the property. You know what I mean? Like, you're in good hands. We got this. I was impressed by how deep into Ghostbusters mythology and lore they went with the characters. And I'm not going to say, like, you'll find out very shortly. But there was stuff in there I'm just like, really? Like, okay. Like, man, just crazy how deep into it they go.
Like, much further than the PlayStation Ghostbusters game that came out a few years ago.
Yeah, absolutely. No, way deeper than like Sanctum of Slime or the PlayStation game that you're talking about.
Yeah.
I think it was just the Atari Ghostbusters video game, or Activision. It was Activision, which was great. But no, they're going into the comics. They're going into the cartoon, a real Ghostbuster cartoon. They're going into Extreme Ghostbusters. They're going into the ATC Answer the Call movie. They go into all of it, man, and it is deep. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff, very, very cool stuff, and I am extremely excited to play. Some people seem to be playing it now. I mean, it's just not out in our country yet, but it will be here shortly, very, very shortly. But it's cool, man, and so I'm dealing with this company in South Korea. So it was interesting. It was funny because when we're going to bed, they're getting up for work. It's like tomorrow for them. But yeah, I had a blast, man, and Dude, what a run, dude, in 2 years, you know? Like, did one cover to, I don't know, I'm pushing like 20 covers to the Ghostbuster World video game and stuff like that. And there's some other stuff we were talking about that I want to do with Sony. I plan on doing with Sony in the future. And, you know, well, hanging tight on that one. I mean, we got to be hush-hush for now. But, absolutely. Absolutely, man. It's crazy.
What about Night Stars? I mean, as longtime listeners of, you know, the Pickle Scoop Show and the Scoop, I mean, Night Stars is your, you know, I'd almost say your pride and joy.
Yeah, that's what I want to do the most of, dude. I mean, it's nice. I mean, that's your thing, and that's where, like, Ghostbusters. I always say this, man. It comes from a Nas song, but I always say this about all comics, whether it's Ghostbusters, the Ninja Turtle stuff I did, the G.I. Joe, upcoming G.I. Joe stuff, whatever. Is carry on tradition. All I really want to do is carry on tradition. Big believer in that. Like, I don't own these things. I am handing it over to the next generation, right? But Night Stars is my own thing. I can do whatever the hell I want. I can go wild. Now, there's a lot of restraint still involved. But, the game plan with Night Stars is we have Staring at the World Through My Rear View, the first volume done. And it's been done for a little while now. We released issue 4 in Roswell last year.
Right.
And we are now finally moving forward with the Barnes & Nobles things, which is it's not that we were dragging, it's just things got so busy, it just kind of went to the back burner. Michael DeChester is a very, very busy man up in New York with DeChester Media and all the stuff that he does, and I got very caught up with what I was doing, and now we're both kind of like, all right, it's time, like, let's do this. So we're shooting for Black Friday release by sure, or definitely Christmas, and that's like tomorrow, you know what I mean? Like, there's a little bit of stuff I got to finish writing up tonight, and the pages are getting reformatted for the book version and stuff like that. So you want everything to be perfect and on point. And UNICEF is definitely involved as well, the United Nations. And man, so that's where we're going with that. And I don't think you're going to see single issues anymore. I think I honestly think that's a thing of the past, man, with comic books and stuff like that in general. And I've been saying this for years.
Just going and getting the periodical or whatever.
Hey, once a year you get a complete Night Star story. You know what I mean? It's like when your favorite band, they don't give you a song all throughout the year and then you just kind of deal with it. You know,
they give you the entire album.
You get the whole album, and then you get the you know. Night Stars will return next year at this time or something like that. So I got the second story ready to go. And we were talking, I'm not going to say what they are now. Again, like I ran into Cheese the other day at Southport Hall, and he was just like, dude, you're not posting anything anymore. Like, what have you been up to? What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just not in a position that I'm doing stuff that it's not shareable at the moment. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say nothing about it. But yeah, so there's certain things we're doing with this that, marketing wise, that should be kind of fun and interesting and stuff like that. And that's really the name of the game.
Yeah.
You're on a shelf. There's a million books on the shelf. Like, how do you stand out? What section do you go in? All kinds of stuff like that. Pull in your favors, you know, man. Yeah. Cash in your chips on certain things. So that's where we're kind of out with that one. And it's exciting. It's fun. It's exciting.
So with the second one, when do you anticipate starting to get that one going?
I'm working on a new Super Bud right now, which is really, it's funny, dude. Because that's one of the few, like, Plants vs. Zombies will have its moments where I'll laugh, like, reading the script, and Super Bud's another one where I'll, like, laugh, a for real laugh when I'm reading it. So I'm wrapping that up. I'm maybe doing another project, a different kind of project with IDW, but that's not determined yet. That's not decided yet. The second volume of Night Stars is ready to go. I know exactly what we're going to do, what's going to happen in it and stuff like that. It's just, when it's time. And I also want to pitch a Ghostbusters story that I'm working on as well, where I want to write some of that. So, let's see how the first volume goes. You know what I mean? And then that would probably be a big factor, a big decider. But there is going to be a second one. There will absolutely be a second volume, and it's going to be weird and fun. So it's gonna be weird. And I think I said this last time I was on here, dude. It's based off of a Muppet Babies episode that I really enjoyed when I was a kid. So I based this whole volume about a Muppet Babies episode, man. That was really cool. So, out of all 100 of those, maybe you'll pick the right one. You'll figure out what it is.
Is it the one where all you see is Nanny's socks?
Yeah, yes. That actually happens in the episode. But yeah, no, man, dude, I loved that show when I was a kid. I still think it's one of the best shows ever, all time, man, all time. All about using your imagination. So yeah. I might base all of them off of Muppet Babies episode. It's like every volume. So yeah, man. So no, that's exciting. And it's a new frontier, dude. You always want to be pushing yourself and pushing. I don't know, how far can you go? How far can you take certain things? And when you look back on Night Stars, y'all were a big factor in that as well, dude. I'll still remember that day you had like a big pickle check for me and stuff, dude. I felt so weird about it, dude. Yeah. Like I didn't know how to handle all that stuff. It was cool. I appreciated everybody helping me out. But man, that was in 2013. It's 2018. Dude, we've been on the NASDAQ. We've done UNICEF books. We've been at New York Comic Con many years in a row. Been all over the place, dude. So that's not too bad, man. That's a hell of a run for a little Kickstarter, dude, by a doorman. You know, so it was cool, dude. And I appreciate that. There are 202 people. I appreciate those Kickstarters.
And I continue to see different signing opportunities that you've been doing. Do you have any of those?
I'm talking with somebody right now about doing a show in Lafayette, and that's probably going to happen. I didn't do that many this year. I did at Showcase Comics. I did some out there with Kevin Eastman. I got to meet Kevin Eastman. That was really, man, he was so cool. And I got to have Kevin Eastman sign the Ninja Turtle stuff that I did, which was a really cool moment. You know what I mean? Yeah, dude. I haven't done as many of those. I've been in the Lat Cave, just like sulking away. You know what I mean? In darkness, like drawing. But I do want to do a little more traveling. I don't know why I didn't do New York this year. I should have gone, because now I'm seeing all the pictures and everybody I know's up there and stuff, and I'm just like, should have did it, dude. So that'll be the last time. I'll be in New York from now on. That'll be annual.
So New York Comic Con's going on right now?
It's probably wrapping right now. They're an hour ahead. So New York Comic Con probably just ended. And dude, all the stuff that we did is up there. Like I'm getting pictures from people of stuff that I did all year long, like the Trey book, you know, the Ghostbusters, the Trey for UNICEF. We did that book, Trey, the story of Brother Earth instead of Mother Earth. The Night Stars comic is up there and all that. You can go get those if you had seen this ahead of time. All that could be gotten at New York Comic Con. So yeah, I could have been up there like signing and doing stuff, and I was like, man, I should have gone. So I did this. Yeah, that'll be the last time. I'll do that next year. I'll be there because that's a fun show. That's a big show.
It seems like every time that you come back with adventures and stories. You know what I mean? Like, man, I remember the first year that you went. That was when you got in touch with the UNICEF people.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, New York is just. I'll be even more honest. I didn't like New York. I used to like, you'd always see New York in like remember in like Spider-Man movies, like Green Goblin's like beating up Spider-Man, and then it's like people on the Brooklyn Bridge and they're like, we're New Yorkers, you know, like you mess with one of us, you mess with all of us. And I'm like, dude, this is so friggin' lame, dude. And then I actually like went up there and spent time up there, and I loved it, man. I love New York. I like the speed of it. I like the attitude of it, man. It's just, dude, it's the spot, you know, like it's New York, you know, like it's the spot. And when you're up there are opportunities that you don't get in other cities and other places. Yeah. And it is what it is, you know, like that's where everybody's at. I'm sure LA has a similar vibe in places like that. So yeah, I love New York, and I luck out every time I go. It's always something happens, always some kind of cool adventure. So yeah, man. We were up there in April, I think, doing something. We were at the United Nations, and we had an event. So we just did so I was up there this year already, and that was cool enough. We got to go to UNICEF, and we got to do another thing at the United Nations and all. Yeah, I love it up there. It's cool. And the UN is fun. That's a fun place.
Yeah.
Some lady like came up to me, dude. She thought I was like, I guess I'm in a suit, you know. I'm dressed nice, and she's like
she thinks that you're like the diplomat of France.
She thinks I'm somebody, man, and she's trying to get me to like hear some side. I'm, you know, I don't know what the hell's going on. It was just funny, you know. I'm like, I'm like, I'm not the person, babe. You know, it ain't me. It's not. I can't help you. I don't know what you're trying to tell me. So that was very interesting. How are you in here to begin with? Like, why are you in this hallway? Like, harassing people? But that was fun. So yeah, it's always cool, dude. So they had a bunch of events this weekend for New York Comic Con, and they were pumping the Trey story and stuff like that I got to help out with the Chesser Media. So that was cool, dude. Vernon was up there, so Vernon was sending me pictures of everything. Vernon Smith, very talented man. That's helped out a lot with Night Stars and other projects. So yeah, dude, it was cool. And Plants vs. Zombies is out. Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare 2 just came out, man, within like the last week or so. So that is now available everywhere, bookstores, whatever. So I'm sure they're pumping that as well. I was in the bookstore the other day. I didn't even know it was out. I saw it on the shelves at Barnes & Nobles when I was going in there. I'm doing recon for Night Stars, just trying to talk to the manager and just kind of pick their brain. What section do people go in? Because I'll go and sit in Barnes & Nobles and stuff like that and just kind of pay attention, like what's going on, who's going where, and I'll draw while I'm doing it. I don't know. I
figure out, would the graphic novel section be the better section for you, or the paranormal possibly? I mean, because there's always that. I'd have to assume that the second one will still have some sort of paranormal conspiracy-esque, or you know what I mean? Like,
it's only going to get worse from here. I promise you. Like the Night Stars Volume 1, I felt like you had to do it a certain way. I felt like you had to have the setup and kind of pace yourself. Whatever, you know what I mean? Here is our world. This is how we operate here. This is our basic story. Now that that's kind of out the way, I'm jumping forward. I've been debating that. Instead of like, slowly progressing, we're going to jump forward. We're dealing with time travel anyway, and we're just going to get into it. You know what I mean? Like, let's go. So now that the rules are set, now we can kind of really start to have some fun. So yeah, it's going to be Amelia Earhart, volcanoes, giant spiders, all kinds of weird stuff. Men in Black, all that kind of stuff's going to be back. Triangle ships, which is another thing you see in a lot of UFO and conspiracy stuff. You always hear about the flying saucers, but you also hear about the triangle type ships and all. So we're going to have some of that in there and kind of delve into what are the differences between the two, stuff like that. So everything's written. Same with the Ghostbusters story.
Yeah.
Everything's written and ready to go. I just got to sit down and put it on paper.
Well, WWE.
Yeah.
I know you've been drawing you're probably up to a dozen or two issues that you have, either pages, covers, etc. with. I mean,
yeah,
did a bunch
of WWE stuff. I'm not sure either. Probably 8 or 9 or something like that. Did a bunch of the regular issues, helping out. And did a Survivor Series issue, and now there is a Undertaker graphic novel coming out where it just goes into the history of the Undertaker.
All right.
And a behind the scenes kind of stuff. They do a fun job of like, you have these events in WWE history, and they are filling in the gaps of like, how did this get to here?
Yeah, how did Undertaker and Paul Bearer come together, or
stuff like that?
Yeah,
and you're going to go into that kind of stuff in this book. And I did a story in there, and my buddy Travis Himmel, who's an amazing artist too, helps out. Another one that helps out behind the scenes with everything like Vernon, and a lot of this stuff from the Ghostbusters to the UNICEF and all that stuff could not get done without his help either. I'm not solo in that at all. He helped me out on that, so he finally gets some credit in this one. It'll be by Tim Lattie and Travis Himmel, and so we'll have a story in there in the new Undertaker graphic novel that's about to come out. It should be out by the end of the month.
Awesome.
Yeah, so that's cool. So yeah, so more WWE stuff. Yeah, man. And like I said, we knocked those pages out and fast, dude. Because timeline, time is everything in this business and most businesses. So yeah. So that's not too bad. Yeah.
You've got a whole bunch of.
I know, huh, dude? And my little cousins, they get a kick out of it, man. So that's kind of cool too. So yeah, the Undertaker, that one's gonna be a cool one. And you got so many other awesome artists that are working on it as well. So that'll be a fun book. They do a good job over there with Boom.
Yeah, all the ones that I've read so far have been entertaining.
Yeah, I got a little checklist in my head, and that's what I want to do. I want to just kind of run through all those properties I grew up with and just touch them. You know what I mean? Just kind of be part of them, like Ghostbusters. You know what I mean? Like you're even a small part, but you're part of Ghostbusters history now. You're part of you took place in it. Ninja Turtles, very small part, but you're there. You know what I mean? So it's just cool. I want to knock out G.I. Joe, Transformers, Star Wars, all that stuff's coming. Big time. That's the game plan. G.I. Joe is next on the bill. And then we'll see what that. Yeah, another one. I'm just saying. I haven't talked to anybody yet. I might make the email this week, but I ordered a watch. It's the Dick Tracy watch, so it'll be a really nice Dick Tracy replica watch, dude. It's cool, dude. Me and my buddy were talking about that the other day. That was such an underrated movie. It came out the year after Batman, and dude, it's a beautiful film. Like all around it's just gorgeous.
I watched it back 2 years ago. It's a colorful comic book style movie to where you've got these eccentric villains, to where it was Prune Face.
Yeah, Flat Top, Mumbles, Dustin Hoffman as Mumbles, Al Pacino as Big Boy Caprice. Man, and I had all the toys as a kid, all that kind of stuff. So I need to check in on it and just see what's going on and see if that's a possibility about getting a cover or something like that, alternate cover. Because I'd love to do something with that too. Because Dick Tracy was years before adventure action comics and detective comics and stuff like that. We're talking about before the superhero genre even existed, because Superman started it. You had Chester Gould's Dick Tracy, just cop stories, cop yarns, which was a big thing in that time period. And so that is classic stuff. So I used to love Dick Tracy as a kid, had all the toys except for the blank, which was Breathless Mahoney, Madonna's character, and that figured. So what happened was they were banking on Batman being so big. 1989 Batman was so big, and if you remember that time period, you had a Batman shirt, you had school bags, you had hats, you had Batman mania everywhere. And they thought Dick Tracy was going to be the same thing, and they were banking on it, and it didn't hit as well. And that's why they had all this merchandise, but the blank was on the toys, it was on the back of the cards. But because you could remove it and it would tell you who the character was, it kind of gave away a big scene in the movie. So the toy wasn't going to come out until later on. And when the toys weren't selling the way they were, that one figure...
F that figure. We're not
it only got released in Canada and I think in Europe a little bit. And it is a tough one to find. And I mean, you're looking at over $1,000, maybe 15 to 3,000 for a blank figure. No joke, dude. That is the only
box, or
no, that's sealed. I haven't even seen any open box, man. I would buy an open box. I would be interested in that. Not for that price, but I would be interested in an open box blank if anybody's listening. I'm very serious about that. I'm very serious in a sealed blank figure as well. And so that's like a grail piece. The USS Flagg is a grail piece. There are a few over time, but the blank is definitely a big one. And me and my mom, man, we used to try to find it everywhere, dude. We could not find it. Eventually my mom's just like, Tim, it just doesn't exist. You know what I mean? There's just no, and I love Dick Tracy, man. I called myself Tim Tracy. I had the little Halloween costume hat. I had the little fake watch. I was a little nerd at school, a little light up watch. But yeah, they had the real watch came out, and it should come in November, man. It's Bluetooth, so you'll be able to talk into it.
Oh, perfect.
So it's version 2. They had another version that had come out and that didn't do all that. Beautiful regardless. Great timepiece. But now it'll be, calling Dick Tracy. You'll be able to do all that kind of stuff off of your phone. So, that's another one. But I feel like that's an underrated movie. I feel like it was beautiful, man. That's just a gorgeous film.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of a comic book because everything was so colorful. Every time that you saw Dick Tracy, he was wearing that yellow jacket.
And all of them were.
And all those characters, the lipstick on Madonna was always very vibrant. Like you said, all the bad guys had, bright colors and
everybody has a season. I've been on a Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers kick lately, dude. I've been jamming Kenny Rogers like y'all wouldn't believe in Dolly Parton. And dude, early 90s, late 80s, they just dominated. They were just so big and so huge. And Madonna, same thing. That time period, A League of Their Own and Dick Tracy and stuff like that. She was just just unbelievable icon, icon. Same with Dolly Parton, Kenny Rogers. Michael Jordan, all these kind of people. They just have that. They just dominated that time. So yeah, dude, she killed it in that movie. I thought she was very good. Warren Beatty and Warren Beatty directed it, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is we're talking about just another genuine star. big time star, man. Yeah, it's just such a good movie. I remember loving it, but critics kind of were back and forth on it or whatever. Danny Elfman did the score, another phenomenal score by him. He has the same kind of vibe as like John Williams, where his music. I mean, Hans Zimmer. I guess they're all the same. It's like a fingerprint. You know who it is if you know what to look for. But yeah, he killed that. It was amazing. What an amazing film. And I found this out. There's this other guy on YouTube, Minty, who does these like, top 10 facts about movies and stuff like that. And he said that Macaulay Culkin was almost the kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude. And he turned it down to go do Home Alone. So wise choice,
yeah,
Macaulay.
Wise choice, yeah.
But yeah, man. So big fan of Dick Tracy. I hope I will get to work on that very soon. Even just a cover would be really cool.
Are you possibly doing any more with Wildcat coming up? I know in the past you've done a couple project things with either, I guess, commissions for different wrestlers or for the Halloween special thing.
Yeah, we did the Halloween thing last year, and that was really fun and got to do some cool characters. I've talked with Luke. We've talked... Again, that's one of those things where, like, we'll see where it goes, you know what I mean? But no, I've talked with Luke Hawks, and I would like to work with Wildcat in the future, because that's another one. If I'm just a fan, I don't miss the shows, you know what I mean? We're talking today about the next show. Like, we're texting earlier about, like, okay, are we getting our tickets for the next show? Like, what are we doing, everybody? So, dude, when was the last time we missed a Wildcat show, to be honest with you? Seriously.
It's been a while.
I love it. I think they put on a great product. It's fun. It was hot as hell in that gym last night, dude. Me and my buddy Mole Craig, that's our date night, every couple months. I think we drank too much. I feel like our relationship has become toxic, so I don't know how long I might have to find somebody else to take. But yeah, man, it's fun, dude. That's great local wrestling. And those guys, it's another thing I like to see is that you have a nice community of people that are doing stuff, whether it's comics or podcasting or radio or even wrestling, and it's fun to see everybody kind of progress in what they're doing. So you might have Buku Dao and Johnny Flex on WWE in the background or something like that. Or you might have these guys coming out playing. Yeah, I mean, it's so cool, dude, and you want to support people because you know what it takes. You know what's going on with your stuff. So when you see other people working hard and doing their thing, and it's gratifying. I don't know. I get off on it, dude. I enjoy seeing it. I want them to do well. I think it's cool, dude. So what was Johnny Flex? What did they call him on the last WWE when he was on Raw?
Ronnie Ace.
Yeah, Ronnie Ace, man. And I know little Johnny Flex, dude. He's a quiet little guy. But he's always liking my stuff on Instagram. I always like his stuff. And he's always at the gym, dude. And the little kid's working hard, man. That's inspiring. And then to see him being at WWE and stuff like that. Luke Hawks, bro, that's a hard worker, dude.
Yeah.
I respect that man. Absolutely. My buddy Sean Odo, I don't know if you've been seeing those. He has Valhalla Training Grounds where all the guys are going to work out. And, dude, that's another guy. He probably won't watch this and maybe never hear about it. But that's another guy. Grew up with him. And he was always into, like, working out and stuff like that. And we thought it was lame. You know what I mean? Like, he had a little fridge in his bedroom and stuff like that. But, dude, totally turned it into this thing. Valhalla Training Grounds in New Orleans, man. And, dude, I go work out, but I don't even go over there, dude. Because, I mean, it is, like, the big dogs,
it's the
dudes.
I've seen a couple of videos and whatnot of Trev going over there.
Yeah, Trev got a lot bigger, too. But, I mean, it is the big dogs over there, man. And part of me kind of wants to go, and I know I could, because I like that attitude. Because he'll post stuff on Instagram, and I like that mindset. You know what I mean? The mindset is the same. It's a different medium. His art is a different medium, but the mindset is the same. And Luke Hawks goes over there every now and again and stuff like that. But point is, whatever, is that like he's doing it. You know what I mean? He took his passion and he turned it into something, man. And I think that's so cool, dude. And that inspires me, man, to keep trying to do stuff with this. I think it's so neat. And I saw him. He was there last night, just friggin' jacked, man, like shredded. So yeah, big shout out to Wildcat, Luke Hawks, Valhalla Training Grounds. Absolutely, man. That's some serious dudes that work, that put in the work. It's not a trick. You know what I mean? Work. So yeah. That's my message. Before I get super serious, like work. I mean, it's not rocket science, everybody.
Well, let's recap everything that you have coming out and all the different plugs and whatnot. So let's see. End of the month, WWE.
WWD Undertaker graphic novel, GN, yes.
The Ghostbusters World Game.
Ghostbusters World Game. That will be out very, very soon, and you will have a lot of fun. It's an AR, augmented reality, so same as Pokemon Go. You'll be able to go around your neighborhood and catch ghosts and stuff like that. Ghostbusters, a series, is still coming out. So Ghostbusters Crossing Over is still in stores now, and I would highly recommend it as well. I've said it a million times before. I will say it again. What Eric, Tom, Dan and them are doing on that book and have been doing on that book is phenomenal, and I am lucky to be a part of it and that they let me do what I do on those covers. But this series, Crossing Over, takes in all Ghostbusters come in and answer the call. So you got Robo-Buster from the cartoon show. You got the Ghostbusters Sanctum of Slime, which was like a PlayStation game. You have the ATC characters. You have the Extreme Ghostbusters. Like, everybody's involved, dude. It is awesome. It's cool. These dudes are so talented. And yeah, they let me to do the covers with that. So we got a few more months of that coming out. Plenty of Ghostbuster covers coming out.
Awesome. Let's see. Plants vs. Zombies.
Plants vs. Zombies is out now. Plants vs. Zombies just came out within the last 2 weeks or so. It is Garden Warfare 2. So it is kind of a spin-off of the highly popular Garden Warfare game. And yeah, you can pick that up in stores now. Did everything. Cover, back to front. Covering all the interior artwork. And it's funny. It's very fun. Very cool. There's little Easter eggs and stuff like that. So that is out now. Barnes & Noble is a great place to pick it up, or online. Amazon, whatever.
Let's see. Superbud.
Superbud is in the works as we speak. Superbud I am doing right now. I just finished the cover so they could have it for New York Comic Con. And I have, like I said, I have the Sony pitch that I'm working on tonight and this weekend. But Superbud will be coming very shortly, issues 3, 4, and 5. And that will be a graphic novel. And that is funny. If you're a stoner or you're into that kind of Clerks humor and stuff like that, Superbud's great. Yeah, they are very talented.
I know we've talked about it in the past. It's the whole premise is that this guy gets like a special blend of weed that gives him superhero powers.
Well, there's an experimental strand of marijuana, and everyone that smokes it has a different result occurs. And it's very, very funny. It's very cool. And yeah, so it's a Superbud. And that's another one, like kind of like Night Stars, you can see the progression too. If you read issue 1 of Night Stars to issue 4, you can see the difference. And Superbud's going to be the same thing because we were working on all that. I think I did the first issue of Superbud, and I've told this story on the show before, but so I'm not going to do it again. But the first issue of Superbud we were doing before Night Stars, and that's how the Chesser came to be involved with Night Stars because they do all kinds of stuff for backstage at the Grammys. They do all kinds of stuff up there. So these guys work in film and media production and stuff like that. And yeah, dude, we just became friends. They're super cool dudes, but they're very funny. Tim and Mike, dude, they are funny guys and very good writers. So glad to be friends and glad to get to work with them. So Superbud, I think that might be it, dude. Maybe.
No, there's still one more.
What was the other one?
Night Stars.
Night Stars and Night Stars. Night Stars is not done yet.
But you're hoping to have the final book.
We're gonna know a lot more this week. And like I said, the name of the game, getting a book published. Look, you got money, you can do anything. But marketing is the game. So all the last couple of weeks, we were just going back and forth, like, what is our scheme going to be? I'm a big fan, and Luke Hawks actually said this to me. We were talking one day, and he had the same attitude of, like, I want to do the opposite of what everybody else is doing. I want to do something different than what everybody else is doing, and I agree. I firmly agree with that. If everybody's going left, I want to go right. So, yeah, we're coming up with some interesting marketing schemes, but you should be able to get that book, the Night Stars graphic novel, Volume 1. The game plan is hopefully Black Friday, definitely Christmas. So that'd be a nice stocking stuffer for everybody. And then more Night Stars to come. The story is certainly not finished by any stretch of the imagination. I'm sure we'll continue to do the work with UNICEF as well because we've became close with them. So for sure.
So to finalize it, where can everybody follow all of your
So my gamer tag was Team Lattie back in the day, TEAMLATTIE. So if you go on Twitter or Instagram, you'll be able to find me there. Or dude, I'm on all the sites. If you go on Steam It, anything, I'm on all of them. Okay, whatever. Also, Tim Lattie, TIMLATTIE Inc. INK. That's a good place to find me on Facebook, and LattieInc.com, LattieInc.com is also a nice hub, and you'll be able to access all those different social media sites from there as well, and be able to follow what we're working on. But it looks like G.I. Joe should be up next, and I'm excited about that, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yeah. So, Tim, it's always a pleasure to have you on here. I look forward to reading all the things that you have coming out. And I'm waiting for the email to respond saying that Ghostbusters World is out.
Dude, I know. I'm excited about it. I want to start playing it. I keep telling Trevor plays Pokemon. I'm like, dude.
I didn't really hit on the Pokemon one, but hell, I'll give the Ghostbusters one a try.
We'll see.
You know
I think it's going to be big, y'all. To be honest, I think it's going to be a big game. Seriously.
So, thank you, as always, for coming on.
Thank you, sir.
Till the next show, Scoop out.